Hey, this is Tina from the Pilates Fat Loss Formula, and I'm here talking to Stephanie Provence, who's helped us work with our paleo diet at the Pilates studio. And we're really excited to tell you about the 10-day jumpstart that we have planned. But before that, I just want to introduce Stephanie. And how did we meet Stephanie?
I started coming to Crossroads Boot Camp up the street in November of 2010, 11? 10, because it's not 11 yet. And I fell in love with the place and started researching about the paleo diet and passed it along to Tina.
You know, I have been hearing about the paleo diet for a while. I work out mainly at the Pilates studio, obviously, but I do hear about the CrossFit community because I'm involved there too. And I kind of thinking, what is this all about? And then I started seeing these before and after pictures and the amazing results that people are getting. Is that how you got started doing it?
The paleo diet?
Yeah.
Yes. I started doing CrossFit and then just knew my nutrition sucked and started just somehow they're linked, the paleo diet and the CrossFit community, and was like, oh, I want to try this. And I did a 30-day challenge where I had no processed food, no sugar, no grains, and within 2 weeks my performance was better at the gym. I felt better. I wasn't bloated.
And in fact, you got so hooked on it that you started your own blog on it, right?
Yes, I started my own blog. Yes.
What's the name of your blog?
Fitandfresh.net.
Okay, great. Well, that's how I met Stephanie, through Scott and John down at CrossFit on 18th, or Crossroads Boot Camp. So anyway, I got really excited about this, and I wanted to incorporate this into our fat loss program at the Pilates studio. But before we get into that, let's kind of clarify what is paleo and what's the big rage about it.
Okay. Paleo diet is kind of what our ancestors ate. So unprocessed foods, meat, seafood, poultry, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. So that's kind of where the name paleo came from. But in today's society, we have processed food all around us. But we can make healthier choices and pick, the grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, and wild-caught seafood and seasonal fruits and vegetables, and make our choices that way.
So it sounds like, okay, so we're doing fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, and lean protein. Kind of sounds like a low-carb diet.
Low-carb diet. Well, because we restrict the processed foods,
okay.
We're ultimately making it a low-carb diet. It's not intentional, whereas the fad low-carb diets out there are intentionally cutting out carbs. We're still getting our carbs from good sources, healthy sources like the fruits and the vegetables. So we're still getting a moderate amount of carb intake, just not the high amount of carbs we would get in a typical American diet.
So it's not necessarily low carb, it's just low processed carbs and simple carbs.
Yes. Low processed carbs.
So we're going for high fiber fruits and vegetables. So when I first heard about it, I mean, I like my cereal.
Yes.
And so no grains. What's
grains.
that all about?
In a simple, easy to understand way, grains cause inflammation within the body at a really cellular level in the intestines, causing the bloating that you get typically when you eat a high carb meal. Leading to, there's been scientific research that says it's more upper respiratory infections, that bloated, and then just having those sugar spikes during the day. So the idea behind the paleo diet is to maintain the blood glucose levels at a steady state all day long. And by eating lots and lots of carbs, processed carbs, that's when we get that sugar spike up and down, leading to cardiovascular disease, diabetes, all that.
And fat.
And fat. And fat.
Okay, so I understand about the grains. And so the problem with inflammation in the body is that it causes decay and disease and also aging, correct? Okay. So what about dairy? Is there a connection there with inflammation as well?
Dairy is another food group that will cause inflammation in the body. But the research for that is not as much, but your better dairy sources are fermented dairies like yogurt, higher fat cheeses, or the solid cheeses, and I think that's it.
Okay. So you helped us come up with our Fat Flush, and you helped us write the book, and we borrowed from your blog, and we're using your recipes.
Yes.
So what's it all about? Tell us in a nutshell what our program is
The 10-day
about.
challenge.
Yeah.
In 10 days, just to kind of restructure your thought process on eating and making healthier choices. That first 5 days, you got to get over getting rid of the sugar, getting rid of the carbs. But 10 days just to change your diet, start thinking about it, see if it's for you, and hopefully lead to lifelong changes in your diet and the way you eat, better performance wherever you work out, and just feeling better overall.
Well, I kind of got to admit, I'm trying it now. My staff before the kickoff for the fall, I'm trying it now, and I'm on day 3. I like day 3 better than day 2. When does it kick into like, wow, I really like this?
After about 5 days.
After about 5 days.
Yeah. Days 2 through 4, I felt like were the hardest for me.
Okay.
Where you're really having those sugar cravings and.
It's just like your body's on autopilot and it's
Yes.
trying to adjust to a new.
And it's you have to give it time to adjust.
Okay.
So 10 days is really a good range for you to adjust.
And then I also need to mention there's no alcohol.
There's no alcohol.
In the first 10 days.
In the first
So
10 days.
so I like the idea of getting your body really clean, getting your mind wrapped around a new way of eating, a new way of thinking about metabolism, the food that you put in your body. And I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a jump start on any kind of thing, because it really gets your attention, it makes you focus. So what are we going to do after the first 10 days? How do you incorporate it in your, quote, real life?
In real life, I do about 80-20. 80% of my diet is strict paleo, and then the other 20%, when you go out to eat with friends and family, finding those choices is a little bit harder. So, little cheat, that gives you a little leeway, and it's not so strict that you can't maintain it for life.
So like I can have wine again?
You could have wine again.
Well, that's awesome. Let me see what else I was going to say. Oh, can you just tell us a little bit about your own personal experience about when you went on it? I mean, did you have good results? I mean,
I did.
Okay.
I did 30 days strict, no drinking, and no carbs, no sugar.
Were you in a bad mood?
The first week. The first week I was, and then after that I had new energy. I never, after lunch you get that sleepy 2 o'clock time.
Yeah.
That went away on week 2. Okay. I was having better workouts, no food cravings. I wasn't getting bloated, and I just felt full for longer periods of time.
And so what results overall?
Overall?
Yeah.
I did lose a little bit of weight.
Okay,
I think
good.
in the first 3 weeks I lost about 8 pounds.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was awesome. And just my clothes were fitting better. I felt healthier.
Yeah. You just feel more stable, like in your blood sugar too. Okay. Is there anything else you want to add?
Give it a shot. It worked for me. It's just 10 days. You can do anything for 10 days. So.
I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited. I'm on day 3. I can't wait to see my after pictures, because we just did before pictures. And I like the thing that you said earlier to me was about it being a paleo template.
Template, yes.
So this is a background, it's an education, it's a frame of reference so that you can take the good things of this that you like, that you can incorporate, that you feel for yourself in your own body, and incorporate it to make it a personal plan.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Stephanie. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.